The Sionyx Aurora Black, an honest review. Coming up next on Encounters USA. Hello everyone, welcome to Encounters USA. If you're new to Encounters USA, then you probably don't know that we do aliens, Bigfoot and Dogman, but we also do podcasts, we do documentaries, and we also do field research. So on my latest documentary, I was filming down at ECETI Ranch for the upcoming documentary, ECETI Ranch, Stargate, The Portal Opens. And let me tell you, I've been to ECETI Ranch before, and I have been so envious of people that had night vision devices. So I said, when I'm filming my documentary, I need to have something that is going to allow me the opportunity or the ability to see in the dark. So I went out and I got myself the Sionyx Aurora Black. And I want to give you an honest review of it. I want to go ahead and open the box and show you exactly what's inside, do a kind of unboxing if you will, and I will show you quickly how to put it together. It's very simple, it's very easy. It comes in this super duper plastic, very tough and durable case, and you just open it like so. And inside is your camera, and you get 2 batteries with this kit, and you also get your micro USB card. So I'm going to just go ahead and put this thing together really quickly. It's not that difficult to put together, and it's actually very easy to use with some caveats I'll talk about in a little bit. But in order to get it to work, you just put in your battery, and it slides in like that, like so. And if you don't have it right, it's probably gonna not go in. And then it just clicks in there, and voila, there it is. So you also need to put in your micro USB card. And so that is in this case. It's got a large one for putting into your computer, and it's got the small one for the camera. So I'll just tell you very quickly, the camera is 720 by 1080p. It is not 4K, and so if that's a concern for people, especially for people who do documentaries, then it might be something that you may, want to consider. So I'll just very quickly do a demonstration, and I'm going to show a comparison of the camera, how it actually works in a second. But what I want to do right now is just show you that everything is done from the top, on, off, and then these are your setting adjustments right here. And then you can use these toggles to toggle through the settings, and you can also focus and zoom, or zoom anyway, with these little knobs here, whatever. Okay, so to focus, you have a focus ring here, and then you have a setting right here, which gives you night, twilight, and daytime. So you look through this, and as you can see, it's very lightweight, and it's very easy to use. With one, I don't know if you're going to be the same as I am, but I will tell you that in order to access, so you've got your settings here. I'll just show you this very quickly. You've got your camera, you've got your video, you've got your playback, your stuff, and then you've got a setting here which gives you back and forth for a few minutes or 15 seconds. And then finally, you have your Wi-Fi. So let's just talk about the camera first. The camera is people that do photography. I've seen videos on this. And this is it shoots at 60 frames per second on the camera, and then on the video, you can go ahead and toggle in and adjust to, like I shoot at 24 frames per second, because that's what I shoot for my documentaries for. So that's basically how it works, and I want to get to the Wi-Fi very quickly, because I'm not going to do a demonstration of the Wi-Fi here because I found it very difficult to do. But the idea is that you can shoot shoot your subject with this, and then using the Wi-Fi, it will go onto your device like a phone. And my idea was to use it to put it on my iPad, because I wanted to use my phone for something else while I was shooting. So I'm going to do another video about that a little bit later on, but that's basically how it works. And ideally, this is supposed to, the Wi-Fi is supposed to set up and, do its thing on your camera. But I'm going to tell you right now that is not, it was not easy for me to do. It was not easy for me to connect to the Wi-Fi, and you have to download the app, and you have to do the software, the firmware upgrade and all that. And I'll tell you, it took me a long time to get the firmware upgraded, and then to finally, it took me hours, and I really didn't think it worked. So maybe you're better technologically than I am, but it took me a long time. But I will tell you that I did finally get it to show up on my iPhone. It showed up on my Wi-Fi or on my Bluetooth devices. And so I was very happy that it did that, but it did take a long time. And the other thing that I want to make you aware of is that I did not get a USB cable with this. Now, this is not a normal USB cable, and it's not this is not a USB-C port. This is, I'll flash what it is, I had to buy this from Amazon, because it didn't come with it. Now, I don't know if yours will come with it or not, but that was a big problem with me. So this is basically the camera, and I'll tell you that I found it a little bit difficult, if not kind of difficult, when you're out in the field and you're shooting, to access. This is your play button, right? This is your record button. And this is your settings button, right? And they're so close together that sometimes you will mistake this for this and this for this. So if you're gonna if you want to shoot that Bigfoot or Dogman or alien or a UFO really quick, and it's just there for a second, then you better practice and figure out where this thing is and how to access it as quickly as possible. So the last thing that I want to show you on the device itself is that you can mount this to a tripod, you can mount this to your gun sight, and you can mount this to anything that you can mount something to, I guess. But what I've found is that it's just easier to hold it in your hand. It's very easy to just go like that. And the problem with that is that it doesn't allow you to have a free hand, right? If you want to be doing something else with the other hand. So that brings up the next topic that I'm going to talk about. Now, right now, I just want to show you some of the footage that I took while I was filming my documentary, ECETI Ranch Stargate, The Portal Opens, and I filmed that last weekend. And so here are some of the shots that I took with the Sionyx Aurora Black. Okay, so let's get started with our field test here. Now, in this first shot, what we're looking at is I'm about ready to do some Bigfoot calls, and you can see that the light, the sun is probably set maybe an hour ago, and you can see there's still some ambient light from the sun, but it's mostly gone. Now, what I want you to pay attention to is that it's not really easy to see anything in the back of my truck, which has no real light. So that's one thing that you need to be concerned about if you're considering buying one of these things. You really need to have some kind of ambient light source around. Now, the next shot I'm going to show you. Okay, so now we're going to turn around and have our back to that ambient light from the sunset, and we're going to go and we're going to place some apples out for Bigfoot to see, apples and some peanut butter. And I want you to take notice of your ability to see and what things look like. And remember that there is still a slight bit of ambient light, not very much. Sun has gone down a while ago, but there's still some to see. So that is the extent of visibility that you're going to have. And remember, as we're going to see in a minute, this is a very starlit night. There's a lot of starlight out, so it does illuminate these apples more than it would on a cloudy day. All right, so that's looking at the ground. Now let's go ahead and look at what I brought the Sionyx Aurora Black for, and that was to view the stars and to view potential UFOs. So let's take a look at that. Okay, so what we're looking at here is we're looking at Mount Adams, and this is where the UFOs come from. And on some nights, the activity is just amazing. But tonight was very, shall we say, slow. And I want you to take note of the large forest fire that is burning just off to the western base of the mountain. And you can see that that is very illuminated in the Sionyx because it is a source of light. So that's what we're looking at night, but compare the stars with the field. It's just a basically open field in front, and decide whether or not that kind of visibility is going to be acceptable for you. Now, very quickly, just let me contrast the Sionyx with, I took a couple of night shots with my iPhone, and I left the exposure open for 30 seconds. So one of these, the Sionyx, shows you what the Sionyx picks up, and the next one is my iPhone taking pictures of the Milky Way. And so I would just want you to compare and contrast the difference. Now, in the next shot, I'm going to show you there is ambient light coming from the house or the buildings behind this viewing area. So as we turn the Sionyx toward the people who are watching, then you can get an idea of how people will show up in certain ambient light. And to the naked eye, these people, you wouldn't even be able to see them. But with the Sionyx, you can definitely see them. You can't make out too much. Image is grainy, but if that's sufficient for you, then get the Sionyx Aurora Black. Now, the last thing I want to show you is this shot. And this shot is with the Sionyx Aurora Black and with an infrared detector. Now, I didn't initially buy the infrared detector that comes with the Sionyx. I just bought one for about $35 off Amazon. And this is the difference. It's almost the difference between night and day. When you have the Illuminator and the Sionyx, you really have a lot of visibility, but let me just warn you that that visibility is only going to be for a few hundred yards, but there is definitely a lot of visibility. So you need to make a decision, and let's go back to the studio for a summary. So my final thoughts on this device are that as I said starting out, when I've been to ECETI Ranch before, I had seen people with these night vision devices and they were great. And so when you're looking at the stars, then as you can see that it's fairly suitable, and you can see things that you really cannot see with your naked eye, and it picks them out. However, we do not only aliens and UFOs, but we also do Bigfoot and Dogman. Now, I'm going to just show you very quickly what you need to buy with this, and I'm just going to show you the shot very quickly of how this works with an IR device, and that goes back to this thing I talked about. So you need to have this hand using this, and then you need to have an IR device, unless there's some way to mount the IR device on this. And we'll talk about this in another video. But because I do want to show you a field test of these. But the overall honest review is this. I was in the Army. I was a paratrooper, and I used to use, and this is of course back in the day, but used to use PVS 4s and 5s. And so when I bought this, I thought, well, this is going to be like that, and I'll be able to see in the dark. But the fact of the matter is, you need some kind of ambient light in order to be able to see what you're looking at. Now, if you're looking for aliens, Bigfoot or Dogman, in the woods, and the aliens are not in the sky with ambient starlight, then you're going to have a problem, because this will not show, you will not see anything. You will just see basically the darkness and outlines, and it will take a very grainy picture. Now, with an IR device, that will help you out somewhat, but then you have the limitations of it doesn't, maybe a 100 yards, maybe 200 yards at the most. So if your Bigfoot or Dogman or aliens are not within that range, then you're still not going to pick them up on your camera. And again, this is a 1080 by 720 picture. So my advice is, if you're going to get one of these, is you've got to hook it up with your Wi-Fi to a recording device like a phone or an iPad if you're going to be out in the field. And you're going to have to use that Wi-Fi and record in 1080p and 720p, I'm sorry, in 4K, because you need to have 4K for your videos now. You're going to have to record in 4K on those devices from this. So later on, I'm going to do a field test doing that in a place where there is no Wi-Fi, because I want to see if I can connect my hotspot to the device and see if that works. But that will be in a much later video. So overall, the thumbs up on this thing is that it looks very rugged and durable. It comes in a great case. The battery life seems pretty good. I think 4 to 5 hours is accurate. And if you're shooting the stars, then that's fine. You're not going to get a real high definition picture. But if you're just looking for objects, light objects moving across the sky, this is great. However, once you bring this thing down into the forest, then you're really not going to see much without that infrared illuminator. So, is it worth it? Well, if you're shooting for UFOs, I think it's absolutely worth it. I think it's great. If you are shooting for a documentary or something, I would definitely make sure that you'd be able to hook it up to a 4K recording device. And I will just say that this strap is difficult to put on. It's not impossible, but you have to use a pin and work your way through, like a poking pin. And again, this control, once you get used to it, it's easy to use. But these two, for me anyway, and maybe I'm just, not coordinated enough, but I found it very difficult when I wanted to record very quickly to find this button when I'm like doing this and I'm starting to press things, because this thing is so close here. And anyway, over time, I'm sure, and with practice, it would be a lot easier to use. But I found it a little bit difficult, and so overall, I'm going to say that I bought this so that I would have night vision for my documentary at ECETI Ranch, and I had that. So if that's what your object is, to film the starry sky and UFOs coming across it, well, I was able to do that, and you'll see that in my documentary. But is it worth? I paid $400 for this, $500 for this, and you have to decide on what your needs are. And I would highly recommend, if you're going to be out in the woods with this thing, you have got to get an infrared illuminator. I bought one for like $35. It comes with this kit for the whole IR kit comes, it's a few $100s extra, but I would absolutely recommend you get your IR illuminator. So that's my review of the Sionyx Aurora Black, and you can make your own decision based on the information I gave you. But I'm gonna be a little bit cautious about using this, and I'm going to make sure that when I go out in the woods that I do have my infrared illuminator. So that is your product review and unboxing for the Sionyx Aurora Black, and we will see you next time on on Encounters USA. And always remember, if you're out in the woods, and especially if you've got your Aurora Black, always watch your back.